Also, during the time that I was originally arrested for this crime. During the process of being in the interrogation room, there were numerous different statements that Kenneth P. Wilcox was showing me. Allegedly, the statements were against me, identifying me as the shooter. He would come in and he would show me the statement and cover certain names and say, say things like, your friend already told me this and your friend already told me that. It was a bunch of statements. And also, after I was released, after bailing out for my original case, I was still being harassed by Officer Kenneth P. Wilcox, threatening me to do this and do that. And I told him that I recanted it, and I wasn't going through with it because it was wrong. It was a lie, and it wasn't the truth. I also was convicted of 7 years for a case that I was only sentenced to 4 years on. And as a result of me not doing the wrongful things that they wanted me to do and go through with it, I was convicted of 7 years for my case that I was only supposed to be doing 4 years for.
In the early morning hours of June 3rd, 2001, Samuel Sambo Frazier, the self-proclaimed founding member of OSB, and Broderick Jr. Green, an alleged minor league affiliate, were standing near the store on Colony Street when a car Sambo had seen before stopped right at the store, and one of the individuals got out and went into the store. Sambo knew the people in the car were from downtown. Sambo went into the store to grab a Dutch Master when the people from downtown shot out the store window. Junior was standing near the store and subsequently was shot and killed. At approximately 9:30 p.m. on June 3rd, 2001, Shakira Chambers and her friend Stephanie Vandy Bogart walked from their house on 3rd Avenue to a store on 2nd Avenue to buy cigarettes and snacks. On the way home, they saw 17-year-old Javon Morton sitting on the steps of a flower shop located at the corner of Elizabeth Street and 3rd Avenue. Javon told them to go into the house. It isn't safe outside. He said people were coming downtown from uptown shooting, pointed to a bullet hole, and said somebody got shot uptown and they came downtown shooting. Javon and Shakira then sat together on the stoop talking about shootings, funerals, and parties while Stephanie stood by the mailbox about 5 feet away listening to their conversation. At approximately 10:30 p.m. on June 3rd, 2001, Lisa Coulter, a resident of 81 Elizabeth Street, was sitting on the steps of a porch and saw two individuals with hoodies tied tight to their heads and gloves on coming down the street towards the corner of 3rd Avenue. When those individuals reached the corner, Lisa heard and saw several shots go off. The individuals were firing toward 3rd Avenue. Lillian Bass, a resident of 91 Elizabeth Street, opened the front door to her house to go outside. She heard several noises sounding like firecrackers and gunshots. Stephanie Vander Bogart, who was standing on the corner of 3rd and Elizabeth, 5 feet away from where Javon and Shakira were sitting, heard shots and saw two people with guns shooting right where Javon and Shakira were sitting. Lisa Coulter, who was sitting on the steps of a porch, sees the shooters run back up Elizabeth Street towards her house and goes inside while the individuals run by. Lillian Bass, who was on the way out her front door, sees two individuals carrying long guns and wearing hoodies run very quickly up Elizabeth Street and around College Street. Stephanie, Lisa, nor Lillian, who all testified at my trial, never identified me as one of the shooters. On June 7, 2001, Desmond T. Tatro goes to the Albany Police Department at 11:32 p.m. and tells Detective Kenneth P. Wilcox that he was in his truck coming from 152D 3rd Avenue. He noticed two individuals running, and then they jumped into the car that was parked on College Street facing up the street on the right-hand side if you are facing up College towards Sloan Street. While Desmond was watching this, he was driving very slowly over the speed bumps that are there, and while he was watching the car pull off kind of fast and started driving up Kyler with the lights off. When the car gets near the corner, the lights on the car come on. When the car got closer to Desmond, he could see into the car, and he saw the driver had a hoodie over his head, like he had some type of braids under it. The passenger in the car didn't have a hoodie on his head, and Desmond noticed it was a kid he knew as Up Top, better known as Anthony Malloy. The car then took a left turn onto Sloan Street and then a right on 2nd Ave. Desmond took a left turn onto Sloan Street and went down the hill to 3rd Ave and then turned to go down 3rd Ave. When Desmond got to the bottom of the hill, he saw several police cars heading towards the direction. And when they got to him, he put his hands up because he thought they were coming for him, but they ran past him. When the police ran past Desmond, it was then that he noticed Shakira lying on the ground. Desmond went to park his truck, and that's when he found out what happened. While Desmond was over near the scene, Javon came running down the street and told Desmond that he had been shot. Desmond then asked Javon who did it, and Javon said the nigga who lives up the block did it. Desmond knew who who Javon was talking about because he had just seen Anthony up top Malloy in the car coming up Kyler Ave. Desmond put one and one together because Anthony up top Malloy's grandmother lives on 2nd Ave on the left-hand side if you're going up the street past Sloan or before Jane's stores. Desmond went on to tell Kenneth P. Wilcox that when he was at Crossgates Mall the day after Javon Shakira was shot, Anthony up top Malloy approached Desmond and his girlfriend and told them that could have been you, referring to Javon and Shakira. Ironically, Assistant District Attorney Joseph Muir never produced Desmond T. Tatro. Thus, the question is, why not? If this is supposed to be about a truth-seeking process, this is an adversarial system. Let truth and falsehood grapple. On direct examination, Assistant District Attorney Joseph Muir asked Detective Kenneth P. Wilcox, relative to the information that Desmond T. Tatro was able to provide, was that any value to the investigation? Detective Kenneth P. Wilcox's response was no. Personally, I think Desmond T. Tatro's statement speaks volumes. First and foremost, Desmond, unlike Anthony Malloy, Adrian Teasley, Erica Cancer, Samuel Frazier, and Vondell McCall, who all had incentive to cooperate, Desmond Tatro, without any charges pending, came down to the police station on his own free will and stated exactly what he witnessed, firsthand. Secondly, Desmond's statement gives a vivid account of Anthony Malloy and another individual fleeing the crime scene before he even knew a crime had been committed. It wasn't until Desmond came around the corner, saw several police officers, noticed Shakira laying on the ground, parked his truck, and Javon came running down the street and told Desmond he had been shot, that Desmond knows what happened. Thirdly, when Desmond asked Javon Morton who shot him, Javon replies, that nigga who lives up the block did. Desmond put one and one together. He knew exactly who Javon was speaking about because Anthony Malloy's grandmother lived up the street, and he had just seen Anthony Malloy fleeing the crime scene. And last but definitely not least, Desmond tells Detective Kenneth P. Wilcox that he was approached in the mall the day after Javon and Shakira were shot by Anthony Malloy, who threatened Desmond and his girlfriend. It seems strange that Detective Kenneth P. Wilcox wouldn't consider Desmond T. Tatro's statement any value to the investigation, especially when first responding Patrol Officer William Van Ambrose testifies at my trial that he noticed Desmond T. Tatro, who he had known before this night, driving eastbound on 3rd Ave. Between the time he got there and the EMS got there, he was the second or third car in traffic. In other words, Patrol Officer William Van Ambrose's testimony corroborated with Desmond T. Tatro's statement. To see documents that support these facts, go to www.freebono.com.